What's up, boxing fans? This is TBE Boxing, back at you again. Today's topic, Crawford, two-time undisputed. Does Boots Ennis really want to fight Bud, or is he playing the waiting game? Part 3. Let's chop it up and see what it's all about.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life before Richard, huh? And I got the glazzy, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.
Okay, boxing fans, we're going to talk some boxing. We're going to chop it up. So, in the waiting game part 2, we spoke about mostly about uh, Boots Ennis and what their plans were in relation to Crawford. In part 3, we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo and Canelo Alvarez in regards to their relationship with Terence Crawford and the possible fight between Canelo and Crawford. Now that we have seen the fight between Canelo and Jermell Charlo, and we know what the results are. So the fight went down basically last night, and basically it was a snoozer. Okay, at the end of the day, I mean, in terms of Jermell Charlo, that is, it was clear if there was any confusion previously that Jermell Charlo basically just went up there to get the bag and survive in that fight. He didn't actually go there to win, and he didn't fight like he wanted to win. As a matter of fact, he kind of fought like he didn't want to antagonize Canelo or get him mad. It's like he didn't want to upset him or something. I don't know, but I guess the way the build-up played out, there was a lot of criticism in the build-up of Jermell Charlo by various persons and commentators and YouTube pundits, who basically said Charlo was being passive, more like a house cat than a lion. And basically, the fight played out the same way as the way the build-up played out. Charlo gave Canelo too much respect. He basically didn't really do anything but move around the ring, and he didn't try to sit down any of his punches or even attempted to make a fight of it. He basically played it safe the whole time. Tried his best to stay away from Canelo, and to last the distance, and he did last the distance. So in my build up to this fight, in the build up to this fight, I had made a video about the fact that actually it was that the last video I made, previous video to this one, part 2. I made the point that this fight was gonna basically go the way I saw the Billy Joe Saunders fight and Canelo fight went. When Billy Joe Saunders uh, fought Canelo, basically what happened in that fight. Once Billy Joe Saunders got in there, he was talking a lot of nonsense, but once he got into the ring and the first solid punch landed by Canelo, and Billy Joe Saunders realized that Canelo was hitting like a heavyweight, he basically got on his bicycle and tried to stay away the whole fight, but he couldn't, and he got smashed and folded up like a lawn chair. Okay, now my analysis was that Charlie is a bit more physically gifted than Billy Joe Saunders, and that he would probably last longer. But actually he did last longer. He went the whole distance. So which kind of surprised me actually because I thought that Canelo would probably stop him in the later rounds. Okay, but it just goes to show you that Charlo's a pretty tough kid, but he just didn't have the tool set or the will, to make a fight of it against Canelo. He was just satisfied with basically surviving and not getting knocked out. And that's what he said after the fight, that he didn't get knocked out. So that's basically what his main goal was, to go in there, get the bag, and not get knocked out. and he accomplished his goal. So I'm sure he's pretty happy right now, and he got the bag like he wanted. So hey, good for him, good for Charlo. But unfortunately for Charlo, at the same time, he just lowered his value, and him calling out Terence Crawford for a fight didn't go down very well because it looked like he was just another grab bag that he was trying to get. And Crawford, basically said that he laid down in the Canelo fight and he was not interested in fighting a pussycat. Okay, he thought he was going to be fighting a lion. And, it looked like, Jermell has been tamed by Canelo. And he's now, your everyday average house cat. Okay, so it is what it is. So that's what it is. So let's take a look at this picture, and you could tell me if this looks like a lion to you. You see that? There's Charlo. Look at the look in Canelo's eyes. Hey, cabron, you're a lion. Hey, cabron, stop running. Are you a lion or a cheater? Now, you remember when Jermell Charlo had said, in a video previously that uh, with Brian Custer and Brian Custer's last stand, he had said that you know when Crawford see what I do to Canelo, he'll think twice about fighting me. And it looked like he was right. Now Crawford don't want to did think twice, and now you don't want to fight him at all because he didn't. You don't think that it's worth it to fight a guy like Crawford doesn't. He doesn't really fight house cats. So he's not looking to fight Charlo now because Charlo, has been tamed. You know, in order for him to fight Canelo, I mean, excuse me, in order for Crawford to fight Jermell would have to go back to Canelo and get his balls back. So that's basically what it comes down to, you know what I mean? So we don't see that happening anytime soon. So Canelo done snatched his balls away. So it is what it is. So at the end of the day, people, it's looking bad out there for Jermell right now. That fight, mega fight with Crawford, look like it's not going to happen. Let's take another look at Jermell. There, does that look like a lion to you? Look at the look in Canelo's eyes, and look at Charlo. Does that look like he's a lion? Is that what a lion does? So hey, and then he got his payday, right? And right now he's probably sipping some henny and saying, "Hey, suckers, y'all can want me to go in there. Y'all suckers thought I was gonna go in there and get knocked out by Canelo, but hey, not only did I get knocked out, I got the bag too, man. I got the bag." So there it is. So basically, Jamel has accomplished his goal. He was able to get that bag, and he didn't get knocked out in the process. Okay, so it is what it is, and he just succeeded in the goal that he set for himself. Now we have set goals for him, and I think in terms of him winning the fight, possibly, or putting up a bigger fight, a better fight, or a stronger fight against Canelo. But he did what he had to do. He survived the fight, and that's all he's concerned about. He got his bag, and he's good now. You know what I mean? That Jamel is good. So he could care less what we're thinking, what I'm thinking, or what anybody else out there is thinking. You know what I'm saying? He got the bag, he got the money, he got some money now. He's gonna last him a good while, and he could just chill now, and not even have to fight too much anymore if he don't want to. But he says he's going back to 154. I don't know what he's going to do if he's going to fight Tim Tszyu to get back his WBO belt that they took from him. But we'll see how that all plays out. So now at the same time, there was some, we see that Canelo, after taming the house cat Charlo, they asked him about who he's going to fight next, and he didn't really. He was kind of non-committal. He didn't really say yay or nay or who he's going to fight next. But people asking and people are wondering if he's going to fight Crawford next. Because we already seen that Crawford has said that he have no interest in fighting Jermell right now. He doesn't fight house cats, so he's not going to fight Jermell anymore. He doesn't want. He's not. He doesn't want that fight anymore. Jermell didn't really do anything. He said Jermell went there and laid down, and it's not a good look for Jermell. So Crawford seems like he's serious about that, and so he's probably just going to go straight after Canelo if after the Errol Spence fight. Now there's some problem about this Errol Spence fight. Nobody seems to know exactly when it's going to happen. Supposedly it's been delayed. That's what I heard in the grapevine, but we don't know if that's a fact or not. Then we hear that it's December 30th, and then we hear that it might not be this year, it might be next year. So we don't know what's going to happen with that fight. But uh, be that as it may, Crawford now has his eyes set squarely on Canelo. Okay, because Jermell Charlo is now out the picture. Jermell Charlo has been neutered by Canelo. He's now ballless. You know what I'm saying? He's a Canelo turned Jermell into a eunuch. So at the end of the day, it looks like Crawford is not, in fight in fighting, Jermell at this point. Jermell looks like he's gonna have to pick a pronoun or something now. You're gonna have to pick a pronoun. We don't know what that's gonna be, but it won't be. It definitely won't be lying. Oh man, Jamel, why did you do to yourself, my man? But I guess it is what it is. It's boxing, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and it's all about making that money for these guys. Some of these guys, and then you have guys who, it's about making the money, but it's also about legacy. And it looked like Crawford is one of those guys. So we might, it looked like he's going to have to track down Canelo because Canelo looks to be running. Canelo is talking about he only had one good fight, and that Crawford only had one good fight, and that was Spence and this and that. I mean, Canelo is one, that one guy that should never talk about anything like that because, Crawford didn't never had a close fight in any of his fights. He either knocked them out, or decisioned them unanimously. So he never had a close fight, but Canelo's had plenty of close fight, and he has got two losses on his record. So I'm not sure what Canelo is talking about. One good fight, you have one guy who has never had a close fight, and you have Canelo who's had close fights and has lost fights. And there's a lot of decisions on his record that people would think would go the other way if they had if they were the judge. So at the end of the day, Canelo shouldn't really be talking about that. Okay, that's not what he should be talking about. It's not going to make him look good. It's not going to shine the light on something like that. Those type of things is not looking good for Canelo. It looked like he's trying to get out of the fight with with Bud, and it looked like he's trying to duck. At the end of the day, because he's using the resume business. He's using the LDBC talking point about resume. You know what I mean? And so, uh, you know, but Canelo is too high profile to be able to run from Terence Crawford. So he's gonna he can run, but he can't hide. Everybody knows Canelo is. He can't hide from Crawford. He can't hope it goes away. Crawford want to fight. A lot of people want to see the fight, and they want to make this fight happen. And Canelo, at some point they're gonna have to decide if he's gonna take this fight or not. Uh, to me, it's a big money fight. We hear about Benavidez and him fighting Benavidez, or Andre, that the winner of the Benavidez Andre fight, if that fight actually happens, he supposedly might fight the winner, but he hasn't been committed to that, so we don't know if he's going to do that or not. Whatever the situation might be in regards to those fights, I think the Crawford fight will be a bigger fight than even the Benavidez Canelo or the Andre Canelo fight. Okay, at this point, so that's the fight I think that we need to see. After the Spence Errol Spence fight, and that's the fight I'm hoping that we're gonna get. Now, I don't know if Canelo might fight somebody else in between. Because I think he's supposed to be fighting Mayo Cinco Mayo or something like that, Cinco de Mayo. So that's in May, 5th of May. So if he's gonna fight then, I don't know if Crawford will be ready to fight him then. Yeah, I think probably if anything, Crawford will be more ready around September, unless Crawford fights Spence at 154 in December, and then work his way up to 160 something in by May to fight uh, Canelo. But I think that's probably a little bit too close. I think the fight should probably be next September, somewhere around there, if they're gonna fight, to give him enough time to build up his weight, and to get comfortable in the weight. So that would be probably optimal. Or even you know October or something like that next year, 24. So we're gonna see it all plays out. But at the end of the day, you know, Canelo did look pretty good in the fight last night. I mean, you know, Canelo does do a lot of telegraphing his punches, but if you just gonna stand there and put up a high guard and try to block, it doesn't really help too much. That's what Jamel was doing. He wasn't doing any, giving Canelo any angles. He didn't. He wasn't committing on any of his punches. He basically was just surviving. It was just a survival game for Jamel. He just survived the fight, last the distance. His goal was basically to last the whole fight, and that's what he did. Okay, so Canelo looked like he was ready to engage, and he did engage, and continue to engage, but he didn't have a dancing partner in Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo was a wallflower last night, so but we did see Canelo land some solid body shots, and like I said, when once the first body shot or any shot landed and touched, Jamel, his whole game plan, if he had one, changed, and it was all about survival. But I think it was about survival from the very beginning. Okay, now I would say that in this scenario, in this case, it looks like Derek James was giving Jamel the right advice. Okay, but Jamel was not taking his advice at all. So we can't really fault Derek James in this situation because from what I heard him saying to Jamel, he was telling Jamel the right thing to do. But Jamel, didn't do any of that. And the funny thing is that Jamel looked pretty good up there at 168 from the outside looking in. But from what I heard, he came in the same weight as Canelo, which is kind of strange because he's coming from a lighter weight, which would mean that he wasn't very disciplined in preparing for this fight because he shouldn't come in the same weight as Canelo. He should be lighter, okay? But he just let it himself go, basically. It looks like, and because it was easy to do that, and he could just make the weight. So he just made the weight. It looks like without, So I mean, just even that just speaks volumes, about Jermell Charlo. I mean, he should have came in. Jermell Charlo shouldn't have came into this fight any heavier than say 165, or if anything, or maybe he should have came in at 164. You know, so but he looked good at the weight, but he didn't really perform well. And at the end of the day, he didn't seem to have too many tools in his tool chest to be able to take on a guy like Canelo. So I think Crawford has more tools, and would keep Canelo off balance more. Would give Canelo angles. Would make Canelo miss and make him pay. Would actually try to win the fight as opposed to just trying to survive. And basically, that's what Jermell Charlo did last night. And so I'm looking forward to see if we're gonna get this fight between Canelo and Crawford. That's the fight that I think is the biggest fight in boxing. That's the fight that we should have next. I think a lot of people are saying it's a too big a jump, but I don't think so. I think that it all depends on your skill set to make. If you have the skill set and you make the jump, then you're good. If you don't, you don't. Now we see that Jamel didn't have the skill set to make the jump, and the truth be told, Jamel doesn't have a history. There's no precedent for Jamel doing something like that. He's been fighting the same weight his whole career. He had never done that. Okay, but we have seen Crawford do it before. He has done it more than once and more than one occasion, and on a higher level. Okay, he has jumped up to the division and just knocked out the champion in that division, whether it's 140 or 147. And we see, he jumped up to the welterweight and knocked everybody out in the division. So he has a history of moving up and knocking out champions. Okay, he has a history of moving up, and not just moving up and performing good, but performing on a high level and an elite level. So Crawford has a history of doing that. So it's not the same, as Jamel moving up two ways, as Crawford moving up three ways is not the same as Jamel moving up two ways. I think it'd be better, it's easier for Crawford to do what he's doing than what Jamel to do it, because Jamel has never done it before. He has no experience doing that. Okay? So, but Crawford has. So I think it would be better. I think Crawford has a better shot at moving up and beating Canelo than Jamel does or did, because he had the experience and he has done it before, and Jermell has never done it before and failed at his first attempt. Okay, while Crawford has succeeded 2 times or 3 times already. So those are the facts, and that's the way I see it. And hopefully we're gonna get that fight. You know, uh, I hear people out there talking about Boots, but I already in part two. I already gave you the whole Boots story. He ducked the fade with Crawford. He didn't take it. Both he didn't take the fight. The fight was offered to them, never took it. So hopefully we don't see that fight at the time. I want to see the Canelo Crawford fight next after the Spence fight. Hopefully that's the fight we're gonna get. So with that said, people, we're gonna leave it there. Charlo went up to 168, didn't really do well, was bad, diminished himself, in the eyes of the fans and the boxing public in general. Just went up there for the bag, didn't really try, it looked like. So it's up to Crawford now to go ahead and take on Canelo and put up a decent fight, because we didn't see that from Charlo, you know. And so, hopefully we're gonna see that fight next. I would really love to see it. I think boxing need that fight. I think it's the biggest fight in boxing, and hopefully we're gonna get that. So with that said, people, I'm gonna leave it there. This is TBE Boxing saying I'm out.
Got the money for minutes, pretty bitch, gotta show me titties. This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? This is the life that I chose, huh? On the block with the pole, huh? That life before Richard, huh? And I got the glitzy, run up on me, I'ma make you get it. I'ma make you get it.